They were told they were being treated. They were not. In 1932, in Macon County, Alabama, hundreds of black men were drawn into what became one of the darkest medical betrayals in American history. Many of them were poor sharecroppers. Many had never had reliable access to doctors or medicine. So when public health officials and local medical workers offered them free treatment, examinations, food, and even burial insurance, it did not sound like danger. It sounded like mercy. But mercy was never the goal. The men were told they were being treated for what doctors called bad blood, a vague, familiar phrase used for many different illnesses. They were not told that many of them had syphilis, and they were definitely not told that they had been placed inside a long-term experiment designed to observe what untreated syphilis would do to the human body over time. They believed they were patients. In reality, they were test subjects. That is what makes the Tuskegee story so chilling. It did not begin with obvious cruelty. It began with paperwork, with routine examinations, with calm voices and white coats, with the language of care. The men came in for blood tests, examinations, and procedures they believed were helping them. Even painful spinal taps were passed off as special treatment. They were sent letters encouraging them to come back. The study dressed itself in the appearance of medicine, and that appearance was enough to preserve trust. Year after year, the men remained inside a system that looked official, organized, and professional. And then the story became even darker. By the 1940s, penicillin had become the standard treatment for syphilis. Medicine finally had a real answer, a real cure, a real chance to stop the damage. But for many of the men in Tuskegee, that cure never truly arrived. The study continued, not because treatment did not exist, but because observation was chosen over human life. Doctors were no longer simply failing to help. They were allowing the disease to continue spreading through bodies, families, and years. While the world changed around them, while medicine moved forward, while the cure became known and available, these men were still being watched instead of treated, and the cost did not stop with them. Syphilis does not stay politely locked inside one file, one clinic, or one person. The damage spread further. Wives became infected. Children were born with congenital syphilis. Health declined. Pain deepened. Some of the men developed severe complications. Some lost their health piece by piece. Some lost their lives. And through all of it, many still believed they were under medical care. That is the true horror of Tuskegee. Not only that treatment was withheld, but that trust was used to keep people in place while evil was being done to them. The study continued for 40 years. It survived changes in medicine, changes in government, changes in public health, and changes in scientific knowledge. It ended because the truth finally broke out. In 1972, the press exposed the study to the American public. The reaction was immediate and explosive. People were horrified to learn that a government-backed medical study had allowed men to suffer for decades under the false appearance of treatment, even after effective therapy already existed. Soon after that, the study was shut down. But by then, the damage had already been written into bodies, families, and history. Tuskegee became a turning point in American medical ethics. It pushed the country toward stronger protections for research participants, informed consent, and oversight in medical science. Tuskegee is not a ghost story. It was a system that looked official enough to be trusted and calm enough not to be questioned. They were promised treatment, and more was taken from them than medicine, time, health, dignity, and for many, life itself. This is Medical Dark Files. Before you trust the cure, ask yourself, are you really being helped, or are you only being made to believe you are?